College football season also means that we get reacquainted with our buddy Steve Merrill from Wager Talk. Get on over to wagertalk.com. Check out Steve's picks, not just on college football, but the NFL, Major League Baseball playoffs are coming up as well. Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Mark, doing well. And, I don't acknowledge week 0, so I figure we had to start in September. September is here. It's week 1. Now it's time to get serious about college football. Although you're serious 365. I know that for a fact.
Absolutely, we are here. But Steve's here. That means, yes, college football is officially back. Week 1, we've got some really good national games, of course. Steve joins us each and every week during the college football season to break down the 3 major national matchups, plus a wild card that you can get on Patreon. So please join us there, patreon.com, search MarkRogersTV, sign up right there. You get Steve's wild card selection of the week, plus my picks from media members, and our Discord, which is about 85 strong at this point. All right, Steve, at the Horseshoe in Columbus, of course, Ohio State, a big 16-point favorite against Notre Dame, 2 of the top 5 teams in the nation, 2 pillars of the sport. This one should be possibly epic or maybe a Buckeye blowout.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a top 5 matchup, right? Yet the point spread is the great equalizer, and that tells you what you really need to know. I look at the rankings, as we all do, but the point spread I look at even closer. And it might be a top 5 matchup, but when you have a 16-point favorite in Ohio State, the odds makers who know as much as anyone are telling you this game probably won't be close. In fact, I think the line should be even higher. I run several sets of power ratings. They all average out to Ohio State by 20 in this game. These lines, Mark, came out as early as May in a lot of locations across the world, sportsbooks in Las Vegas, the U.S., internationally. So we've had several months of these games being bet into. This line was as low as 14 this past summer. Went up to 16. It sniffs 17 at times. So people feel like the line value is gone, but it's not, because I make the line 20. So I still think it's minus 16. There is value with Ohio State. I feel they're probably the best team in the nation coming in, and I think they're going to win this game. Notre Dame's got a tough spot here. Not only is it the first game of the season on the road in a hostile environment, but you've got a new coach, new staff, inexperienced offense. It's not the recipe for success. And now Ohio State, my knock on Ohio State, I know you cover them closer than anybody on a weekly basis all season long, has been their defense the last couple of years. But that offense has not struggled. I mean, that offense has been potent. I think probably the best in college football over the past few seasons. So the question is, does that defense improve this year? And I think it does. You look back in 2019, they allowed just 14 points a game. That's what you see normally from, Final Four caliber playoff teams like Georgia, Alabama, Clemson when they're strong. Ohio State in the COVID season 2020 gave up 26 points. Last year, 23 points a game. Very mediocre numbers for a top 5 program or a national contender. I think they're going to be a lot better on defense this year. Not only do they have 8 returning starters, but the experience factor I like to look at ranks them as the 13th most experienced defense in all of Division 1A FBS. So I think Ohio State wins this game by margin. I don't think minus 16 is enough.
Steve Merrill, Wager Talk, joining us each and every week as he has for several years now. Steve, I'll have to go back into the annals and count how many seasons you've joined us for college football selections. It's been quite a while, 5 or 6 years with Steve. And again, wagertalk.com. It's not just college football, the NFL, Major League playoffs, the value there, not just to make the selections, but to get involved in money management and truly understand how you should approach wagering. And as we move on to another national game here, of course, Georgia, Oregon, and the Pac-12's latest attempt at respect.
Yeah, this is so similar to the Ohio State game. It's the other high-profile top 20 matchup of the week. And, you get excited. Boy, we got some live dogs, right? Notre Dame, Oregon. Maybe they're going to pull the upset on 2 playoff contenders. But then again, you look at the point spread, 16.5. And the odds makers are telling us what we need to know. And once again, I actually think these are public dogs, both Notre Dame and Oregon. I think the lines are too low for that reason. My power ratings make this 19.5. So I've got Ohio State by 20, Georgia by 19.5. Now, I like Ohio State because of the line value, and I like them because of the matchup, as we just talked about. That's what sets up a play. And if you get my official best bets at wagertalk.com, you've got everything working for you. You've got line value along with the situational matchup analysis. That's when we pull the trigger on, our 3 or 4 strongest plays every Saturday. While the line value favors Georgia, as I make them a 19.5 point favorite, they're only laying 16.5. Both 17 and 18, by the way, are key numbers that are working for us. I'm staying off this game most likely because of the matchup. And it's a very interesting storyline, as you know. You've got the former co-defensive coordinator and Dan Lanning becoming the new head coach at Oregon. And I think that gives the Ducks a sneaky little matchup edge. I don't think it's enough for them to win the game, but it's maybe enough for them to keep it close, maybe keep it low scoring. And that's going to be the key. I just don't think Notre Dame can keep the game low scoring against Ohio State, but I think that maybe Oregon could. They can sneak within this 2.5 touchdown spread because, yes, they know Lanning, they know what he likes to do, but we haven't seen an Oregon game yet with him at the helm. He knows what Georgia wants to do. He knows the weaknesses of the Georgia offensive players, their tendencies, and Georgia is more experienced offensively. They were just decimated on defense, at least from the NFL draft. Double-digit guys going to the draft, half the defense going, the entire defensive line gone. With that said, though, there's maybe 4 or 5 teams, as you know, Mark, that just reload every year, and Georgia is obviously one of them. So I don't think there'll be a huge drop. I think this will still be one of the best defensive units in college football. Line value favors Georgia. I see them winning this game. Only concern, though, is the fact that Dan Lanning, the new coach at Oregon, is familiar with Georgia, and also Bo Nix, transfer quarterback from Auburn. He's familiar as well. So maybe Oregon can get that backdoor cover or hang in here and lose by 14, but I think Georgia's going to roll otherwise.
WagerTalk.com is the place to be to get Steve's college football selections. The NFL starting in about 10 days, and of course, Major League Baseball in full swing with the Major League Baseball playoffs a month away. All right, and finally, we stay in the SEC. We go to Florida, Pac-12's best possibly this season, certainly the champions from 2021. Utah traveling cross-country. This is the first time that the Florida Gators have played a Pac-12 team since 1989 in the Freedom Bowl against Washington. So a rare matchup here with Utah traveling to the Swamp to take on Florida, and the Gators are a 2.5-point underdog.
Yeah, they actually, back in May when these lines first came out around the world in the global betting markets, Florida was actually briefly a 1-point favorite earlier this summer. So we have seen some money come in on Utah. As you've mentioned, they're now the road favorite in this game. Very unusual to see a non-conference SEC home underdog. But I don't disagree. In fact, my power ratings favor Utah by exactly 2.5 points in this game. So I think the line is spot on. I do think there was some value with Utah when they opened as a brief underdog this summer. Make or break game for them. Look, they win this game. They, for the most part, kind of control their own destiny for the rest of the season. They're going to have about 5 other tough road games, but they get USC at home on October 15th. They also go to Oregon on November 19th. That'll be the biggest game if they can stay undefeated until then. Make a push to be one of those 4 teams in the playoff. Look, if you're looking for future bets, I'm always big on the big payoffs, right? Because the sports books are holding your money for 5 or 6 months. You want to get big odds. You could take a flyer on Utah to be a Final Four contestant. I don't think they're going to win the national title. I don't even think they make the finals. But like Cincinnati last year, you could see Utah maybe being the team that sneaks in here from that Power Four. And right now, the heavy 3 favorites, by the way, are Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. And then you got Clemson around that 10-1 range. Everybody else is basically 20, 25-1 or higher. So if you take anyone other than those 4, you're going to get a nice payoff. You could always hedge once you get to that round of Final Four. And Utah should win this game. Once again, a 2.5-point favorite with my power ratings. I think it's spot on. I don't see a lot of value from a betting perspective, but I think it's one of the most important games we'll have in the entire month of September because it does enable Utah to make a claim at that playoff in a couple months.
Join Steve at WagerTalk.com for all his college football selections, the NFL and Major League Baseball. Steve joins us throughout the college football season for the big 3 national games. Now join us on Patreon. You get Discord, also Steve's wildcard selection of the week. Again, patreon.com, search MarkRogersTV.